It's safe to say that most of us are aware of some of the behaviors that increase risk of death. We're talking about things like smoking, sedentarism, and a poor diet. But what habits in particular can affect our longevity? Science has been studying this for a long time, and lots of research has been conducted. Of course, causation and correlation come into play when we talk about some of these things. Some activities can actually cause you to live less, but some may just be a coincidence and other aspects may have to be considered. Sitting a lot. Sedentarism can really have an impact on longevity, and sitting a lot is one of the main culprits. This is indeed bad news for those who have to spend the vast majority of their working hours sitting at a desk. Trying to incorporate some breaks to stand for a while, or using a standing desk, may be helpful. Sitting a lot really has an impact on our lives. Research has found that reducing daily sitting time to under 3 hours might add up to 2 years to your life. The same study also concluded that reducing the amount of time we watch TV to less than 2 hours a day might add an extra 1.4 years to our lives. Too little sleep. If you regularly get less than 5 hours of sleep per night, your risk of death is higher than someone who stays in bed for an extra couple of hours. Too much sleep. The same goes for those who like to have a lie-in on a regular basis. If you often spend over 9 hours in bed each night, then your risk of developing diabetes or coronary heart disease, and consequently dying early, is also higher. Too much red meat. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a nice steak or a juicy burger once in a while. If you do so every single day, though, we have bad news for you. Daily red meat ingestion is estimated to increase your risk of death by about 13%. Too much processed meat. The same applies to processed meats, so swapping your steak for deli meat won't really do you any favors. Poultry is a good alternative, as it may reduce your mortality risk by 14%. The same goes for fish, which can do so by around 7%. Spending a lot of time inside. We've written before about what happens to your body when you stop going outside. The gist of it is that it's not good for you. Spending a lot of time indoors is unhealthy and will increase your risk of death. Spending a lot of time inside. It turns out indoor air is actually more polluted than outdoor air, says the Environmental Protection Agency. Then there is also the lack of sunlight exposure, which messes up your circadian rhythm and may leave you deficient in vitamin D. Poor financial management. Being careless with your money can literally cost you years of your life. Careful spending is actually good for your health, whereas the opposite can be bad for your heart. While not everyone will be able to do so, having an emergency fund, instead of living paycheck to paycheck, has been shown to decrease risk of developing cardiovascular disease in older adults. Not drinking any alcohol. Yes, you've read that right. Not drinking can actually increase your risk of death. Of course, we're not talking about all types of booze, nor about excess consumption. This would have the opposite effect and increase your risk of early death. The exception here is wine. Wine is full of antioxidants, so an occasional glass of wine can do wonders for inflammation. Red wine may also decrease the risk of developing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, heart disease, and high blood pressure. Forgetting to floss. Poor oral hygiene is linked to poor heart health, so if you're cutting corners, your longevity may suffer as a result. Brushing your teeth and flossing is a way to ensure you get rid of bacteria that may potentially travel to other parts of your body. One study actually found that flossing your teeth can add as much as 6.4 years to your life expectancy. Avoiding spicy foods. According to a study, people who eat spicy food daily have a 14% reduced chance of dying when compared to people who do so just once a week. Similar to other points on his list, it should be noted that this is just a correlation and there may be other factors at play. Using your phone. Slouching on the couch while using your phone can take years off your life. Bad posture may actually lead to impaired lung function. According to research, smartphone use in university students has been linked to reduced quality of sleep, as well as higher levels of anxiety and depression. It goes without saying that all of these may have an impact on life expectancy. Sitting in traffic. Sadly, many of us endure this day in, day out. And a study has found that although long commuting affects both men and women, the impact on women's longevity is greater. People who commute longer distances not only spend more time sitting, but they also have less time to be active. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine concluded that commuting distance was adversely associated with physical activity, cardiorespiratory fitness, adiposity, and indicators of metabolic risk. Cracking your neck. Do you crack your neck on a regular basis? Well, there are some risks associated with this habit that can lead to an early death. There have been cases where people did so, tore an artery, and a blood clot formed, resulting in a stroke. It may feel good, but it's a habit that may reduce your life expectancy. Being chronically unhappy. Being unhappy is normal, and we're all down from time to time. But spending year upon year under a gray cloud can take years off our lives. Strong negative emotions are unavoidable, but these lead to a stress response. This means higher blood pressure, higher heart rate, and release of cortisol, stress hormone. Too much, too often, is not good for your health. Worrying about death. As ironic as it may sound, worrying about death can lead to an early death. If you live with high levels of anxiety about your own mortality, this can impact your health. Not dancing. We get it. Not everyone feels comfortable dancing. But it turns out it can increase your longevity. Not only is it good exercise, but it has also been linked to a healthy social life. It's easy to see why, right? Isolating yourself. Humans are social beings, and we need to connect with other humans. Research based on 148 studies found that people with strong social relationships had a 50% lower risk of premature death compared to those who didn't. Skipping breakfast. The American Heart Association reports that those who eat breakfast are generally healthier in a number of indicators, including cholesterol levels, cardiovascular health, and blood pressure. Not skipping breakfast. This may, however, be connected to other lifestyle habits. Intermittent fasting may be beneficial, too, with some studies claiming that it can increase longevity. In addition, research has found that when it comes to weight gain, eating or skipping breakfast makes no considerable difference. So, the jury is still out on this one.